Well, that's the thing. I wasn't going to announce this till later on, but I might be quitting real estate and become a supermodel. Yeah, if you saw me on the catwalk today at South Coast Winery, it was pretty impressive. Greetings, Red Tie community. It's the ball guy in the red tie, your future supermodel, perhaps? Maybe not. But I do have a social media show called the Red Tie Community Show, and I am the host. The most favoritist host of the show, because I'm the only host.
Hey, that works.
I love how that works.
There you go.
But today in studio we have two special guests, not just one. We have the dynamic duo known as Kurt and Wendy from the Real Estate Resource Centers.
Welcome. Hi, everybody.
Hi, John.
Hello. Hi, John.
Well,
thanks for having us.
Well, thanks for coming out.
We're so honored.
Thank you.
I know. It seems like I just saw you.
You did. We were watching you strut your stuff.
Ago.
Yeah.
We watched you strut your stuff today. From the beach shorts to the pants, the tight jeans.
I like that white
thing.
shirt. I don't think I've seen you in a different color shirt in a long time.
I was really hesitant to do this fashion show because, this is my thing. This is what I wear. You know what I mean? So I think that's why they wanted me. They're like, okay, John, we want to show the real estate community that you can wear something besides a black shirt and a red tie.
And it worked very well.
It did, right? It was
did.
good.
Well, you had your shirt
You had a
on
lot of
underneath.
fun, though, too.
It was a good time.
Yeah. But you made it, you did your thing. You made it look natural and easy, and you were John Butler down the runway. That was the fun part.
I'm not afraid of the stage.
I know.
By any means.
Definitely get that.
And for those who don't know what we're talking about, today we had a very special event. It was over at South Coast Winery, and it was called the R. Nicholas Foundation, where they raise money for autism awareness, and it was just a great foundation, great time. Probably about 300 people showed up.
Mm-hmm.
And
It was for the Women Council of Realtors.
Women's Council of Realtors. That's a mouthful.
Right. Yes.
But they're fantastic because they're always doing wonderful things for the community, for the industry,
Yep.
and getting the awareness out. So that's what I did today, and I was a model.
That's
I know.
right.
People are like,
Supermodel John. Yeah.
That's right. Wearing the Buckle clothes from Buckle.
I missed
Yeah,
my
Wade
calling.
One
had
of my
his
favorite
shirt on.
Yeah.
Did he?
Wade was
He
wearing my
modeled
shirt.
his shirt.
Oh, nice.
So
You're
anyway.
gonna have to model it next year.
Well, let's put it out there. You never know.
You never know. We'll plant those seeds. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I wanted to bring Kurt and Wendy here because they have something amazing happening in Temecula and just in the real estate industry in general. And so if you're not familiar with Kurt and Wendy, you need to know who these people are. Because basically, the whole old school brokerage model of many, many years ago is definitely becoming outdated, where people are starting to be more technologically advanced. They work from home and all this kind of stuff. But what I think agents find working from home, being in their little caves, going through the ups and downs of real estate, feeling emotionally vulnerable sometimes it's good to have a tribe. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it's good to have a place, maybe a center of resourcefulness that you can attend.
Imagine that.
I know. And so you guys created this resource center over off Inez and Ranch California Road in Temecula. So how did this whole thing happen? What inspired this?
Well, it started with Wendy, actually. Years ago, most people know that she was a manager and did a lot of real estate over her time, and began to coach people and mentor people. And she kept talking about having this place that people could go and learn and grow and have a place to meet with other agents or other affiliates, possibly, depending on what they were doing. So I know you have a lot more to say about that, but that was the...
No, it's good, love. I was listening. That was awesome.
That was the main...
Well, yeah,
how it started was with that, and then we kept
Yeah.
having brainstorming ideas about it and what to do and how to put it together. And
I think there's two big passions behind it. One is in management, it can be lonely when you're doing, or just even doing a lot of real estate and being on your own. To grow, you need other people.
Yeah.
But our industry tends to kind of, shrink away from that, and they don't really share a whole lot of ideas. And especially as a manager, when I was managing a larger brokerage here in town, we had 70, 80 agents at a given time. I had maybe 4 or 5 that would show up in the space, and our rent was astronomical and very difficult for that branch to be profitable. So I started thinking about all of the other brokerages and managers and people that really, are doing this by themselves. Being a single mom for 9 years in the middle of all that, having my home burned down, all that fun stuff, I didn't want anyone else to go through that same pain. I want everyone to be able to have a space to grow, to learn and to get support. And so that matched Kurt's ideology and that's why we both now own it and run it, because it kind of is that synergy space where any broker can come and any agent and work from and all that fun stuff. So
And that is a very important point. And so for the general public that is not aware of how the real estate industry works, so essentially I'm a real estate agent, right? And then you need to work for a brokerage for the most part, unless you become your own kind of mini broker. And sometimes, people, once they get into real estate, have a couple good years, they kind of get their broker's license and they split off, do their own thing. And then sometimes they'll have maybe a handful of people that kind of work with them. And that's all fine and dandy, and that's great. But the problem is, if you want to have a brick and mortar place here in Temecula, you're talking about thousands of dollars a month. Right?
Yeah.
So what a lot of agents will do is they'll just kind of, they have their laptop, they have their cell phone, and they have their house. But the problem is sometimes it's hard to separate business from family
Doing the
life.
laundry, take care of the dogs, the kids.
It's very easy to get distracted from home, I've heard.
Yeah, not,
I wouldn't know personally. But it can be very challenging. So what they did is they created this space where anybody, it doesn't matter if you're Century 21, doesn't matter if you're Tarbell, Realty One Group, or whatever it might be. It's a synergy place where you can come in. And when they say the word synergy, you hear that word kind of thrown around. But when you actually walk into this place, there is this vibrational feeling that you get when you walk into it. It's very positive, very uplifting. And it's cool because you never know who you're going to run into, whether it's Andrew Warburton or, there's just a whole tribe of, like, when you walk across, like, I get kind of starstruck. Like, I see some of these people, I'm like, oh my gosh. Like, you're talking about a guy that has a doll of himself, and I still get starstruck.
Oh yeah, we have a monthly find John Butler in the Resource Center. His doll goes in different places.
Yes.
And I get to
Action
walk in
figure?
and see where no, it's your
little puffy doll,
It's
little-
an action figure.
Your action figure.
Oh,
I'm
action
sorry, not your doll.
I'm a man.
You
I have
said
action
puffy
figures.
thing. You sounded like you even labeled it. Okay, your action figure.
There we go. You never know when you go to Resource Center where it's going to be, so you
That's
got to
right.
find it. It's like Elf on the Shelf, but ball guy in the red tie somewhere.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
That's what we do. But what you guys have laid out has been amazing. And so this vision started a few years ago. So this is not something that you just woke up one day and you wanted to do. This has
Right.
been years
It
coming.
has. It's probably gosh, I don't know, at least 10 years.
Well, for you, yeah, when you first started thinking about doing it.
Yeah.
And I want to make that a point too, because this whole vision for doing this podcast, video cast, whatever you want to call it, this show, this started back in 2014, but it only started in 2018. So sometimes you got to plant that seed, you got to water it with late night dreams and visions and things like that.
Floating on clouds, all that good stuff.
Yeah, because a lot of times people want to have a big idea and then it doesn't happen next week, and then they go, stupid,
It's
I don't
no
want to
good,
do it
right.
anyways.
It's that idea that doesn't let you go.
Yeah.
It's,
Nags at your soul.
It does, and it keeps going, and you have to expand into it, like you're saying. It's not the stuff. It doesn't happen overnight. You have to grow into it, and that's a lot of layering, shedding the layers, letting go, and be at the unknown. Most of us don't want to let go of what we know, and so there's a lot of unknown that we've let go. But I remember still that first couple of months that we opened the center. I just walked through like, oh my gosh, we're doing this. And now when anybody walks in, they're like, gosh, I love the energy in here. I'm like, yes. And so we want to open more and do more. And I want to be mama bear to everybody. Holla.
You definitely have a heart and spirit of being the mama bear. Mm-hmm. And we're going to get into that in the next segment here, but I definitely want to introduce people to the awesomeness known as Wendy Whitelaw. Kurt already knows about the awesomeness.
Well,
I
a lot of, there's been a lot of safety. Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of safety, though, that because of my relationship with Kurt, that I've been able to grow into all this as well. It's not, that didn't just happen without him, that's for sure.
What I love about you guys as a couple is that it's nice when you see the yin and the yang come together. Mm-hmm. There's a balance between you guys. Mm-hmm. And, you can fly high above the clouds, and then Kurt's like, okay, well, here's the logistical way of how we're going to plan this and make this a reality.
True.
That's right.
And you're like, but
You
I'm
nailed
up here,
that one.
Yeah, so
You're
it's
like,
that balance.
I'm fly right here.
Not saying that you're not visionary, but I'm saying,
Oh, no, he definitely is
balance.
visionary.
Yeah.
I'm a whiteboard visionary.
Yeah.
But he's a
I whiteboard
whiteboard.
it out, and okay, that'll work. Then I get really excited, and So that's how I tend to roll with it.
As long as it makes sense.
I got to flush it through the Kurtmobile. Like, okay, Kurt, I want to do this. And he'll, get the idea going. And
You got to plant that seed, leave the room for a while, come back a couple hours, and he's got it planned out. Is that kind of...
Not always a couple of hours. I have to let him go in his own time on that one. That is one thing that we've had to learn because, like Kurt says, I think and talk at the same time. There's no gap in that. It just goes. And Kurt will think before he says anything. And so I'll say something and want to go, okay, I'm ready, let's go. And he's like, hold on.
Yeah, usually we've realized more lately that she's quick to act on stuff, and I'll be slower to go. And then if we actually do go forward with whatever that is, and then she might be the first one to want to bail out of whatever it is we're doing too, or change it. And I'm like, well, wait, we just put all this into it. We got to let the seeds grow and or let it work itself out, which it usually does. So we have a good balance for
Very
that.
cool.
So.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Well, we actually have a nice little video clip promo that I think the Red Tie community audience would love to see. So Mr. Tyler the Tech is going to pull that up for us, and we are going to check this out.
Hi, I'm Wendy Whitelaw.
And I'm Kurt Ecclefield, and we're the co-founders of the Real Estate Resource Center.
And we've created a membership organization that allows for co-working space, for synergy, for support, for anyone in the real estate industry where you want to be involved with like-minded individuals, getting training for better success for your career, new ideas.
Well, there's also that point that we all have as real estate agents where am I going to meet my clients? Where am I going to go meet a new buyer that wants to get out and look at some properties? Well, how about a professional building that you can come into in an office space that's beautiful, has beautiful surroundings, and you can sit down in a private conference room and meet with them and show them those properties and get out and go and even come back and do your contracts there. So you're no longer doing it at Starbucks or at your home or any of those type of places that aren't comfortable for you.
And for brokers, it gives you the opportunity to have a shared space that doesn't cost as much as your own building and space. So by being in that co-working bit, it's affordable, it's with like-minded individuals, and you get support for further business growth.
Look below for more information on our membership levels and shared workspace options, or give us a call at 951-324-4737.
We behind the scenes on that one, he kept stumbling over the one part of it. So I'm watching myself like cracking up as I'm watching him talk. And anyway, no one else knows
the
that.
behind the scenes of it?
Yes.
Yeah, we spent a lot of time doing. We did a few videos that day, but we spent some time joking around and laughing, and it was a good time actually.
It was really funny.
Well, and you mentioned in the video how it's professional building, and it's so true. So for those who are familiar with the Temecula area, as you are on Rancho California Road, you take a left onto Inez, and then you see the Del Taco, and you're probably hungry. You're like, oh, I want to get a burrito, but hey, wait, don't turn there. Go straight, and then on the right-hand side, you're going to find a 3-story, beautiful brick building. And the funny Red Tie story tie into that is that that was one of my first jobs in Temecula, was working at that building at KATY radio station, selling radio ads. And that lasted about a month before they fired me.
Yeah, because working for somebody else wasn't the greatest thing for you, huh?
Well, so my sales manager at the time, he was all about the numbers game. You got to call 1,000 people to get one person to say yes. And I was like, God, that sounds terrible. And I'm a relational type person. Mm-hmm. I'm not a numbers guy. Mm-hmm. I'll spend an hour with someone, even if it's like $100 rental check kind of thing.
Right.
But to me, a relationship is way more important than a transaction, because you never know where that relationship might go. And so that's my philosophy.
Very true.
Yeah.
It's been fun watching you step into that even more so lately.
How so? What do you mean?
The last, 5-6 years.
Yeah. So the backstory with Wendy and myself is that I was working at Exit Realty. I started back in 2008. And if you remember real estate during that time, it was a terrible time to get started in real estate, or maybe the best.
Well, let's say the drop was 2009, the worst, the bottom of it. So, yeah.
And I think in 2009, that was like my best year ever. Because when you don't know any better,
Right.
I think what tripped up a lot of agents during that transition time right there is that the years leading up to that, you put a sign in the yard, and then a couple weeks later, you got a $10,000 paycheck or $20,000 or whatever
They had
it
a
was.
market-driven business.
Market-driven business. And they didn't build branding into it, and they were just an agent. They were a warm body that opened up a door and wrote a contract for them.
Right.
And so when I got into the business, I was like, okay, I kind of looked at the whole scenery of things, got the lay of the land, and I wanted to, my personality is one of my assets kind of thing, so I was like, okay, I'm just going to come out, comedic style, have fun with it, because everybody buying houses are in their 30s, and I just built a brand around that, and it really went well. But I was working at Exit Realty, and this lady shows up at one of our office meetings, and I'm like, okay, we're going to get pitched something, because that's what these people do. They come to our office meetings and make us buy home warranties or whatever. And then you come up with like this 20-minute, it was like this very insightful, soulful, it wasn't about real estate business per se. It's about you being a wonderful human being and then working on yourself and then going outwards and how that shifts the business. And so right away I knew that you were very different, because you have this ability where a lot of sales trainers want to tell you to cold call 1,000 people, and you flip the script and you say, no, work on yourself first, become happy with who you are, and then that radiates outwards.
Right.
So that's kind of
Do what you love. Do what you love. Do what you enjoy, and figure out what that is. I think the biggest part of that came from my own transition or awareness after my divorce. As a woman, I'd never really asked myself, well, what do I want to do and what do I like? I was just talking to a little, well, I call her little, she's 18 years old, and she came in bawling last night, one of the girls' friends, because she didn't know what she wanted in anything. And we get lost in that, and I realize that in real estate we can do the same thing. That's why you've always done so well, because you from the beginning stepped into you. You stepped into the persona of who you are and built that up. We morph and change and we grow with that. But when the struggle that agents had at that point was a market-driven business where something external was driving them instead of themselves. And that never sustains, as we know. I mean, anytime you go when someone else is either driving your emotions or what you're thinking or what you're feeling, it's no fun.
That's so true. I mean, you see so many people that made a lot of money during the REO market, and then now they've just completely disappeared. And it's because of the market-driven cycle of it all. Whereas if you come out of the gates starting a personal brand like I did, and now you see that a lot. You see a lot of the agents, a lot of them are working with Mike Cuevas down south. I'm not sure if you're familiar with him. But he has this thing called Flip This Agent. And so Mike's got a lot of cool things going, so I'm going to talk to him soon. I might bring him on the show. But branding is so important, but being generic and authentic with your branding, I think, is very important, and that's a big thing for you.
That's a hard thing to do, to be generic and authentic, because you've got to attract everyone based on with a wide funnel, but yet you really need to be specific to who you are. So.
One of the things that was a big shift for me happened in 2015. So, in my personal story, started real estate 2008. Basically, we had a very successful career for those 7 years through the ups and downs of the REO market, whether it's the short sales and things like that, and rode the waves and all that kind of stuff. But I did well. But when I came to you, because you offered coaching and stuff like that, so I was like, all right, fine. If I really want to be a champion, I need to get a coach, because if you're a top dirt bike rider, they have coaches. Athletes, they have coaches. So I was trying to take it to the next level. So I remember the first time I sat down with you. And Kurt, you can attest to this, because she always goes, well, what is it that you want? Right? So being a numbers-driven person in during that time, because it was all about more success, I was like, well, I want to do 100 transactions, and I want 100 sponsored agents, because I was back into sponsoring and recruiting back then for Exit, and I want to make $1 million a year. And you said, hit me right between the eyes, you go, why? I don't know. I didn't know there was going to be a follow-up question to this. And so you really deflated my balloon, because I was like, well, I want to ride dirt bikes in the hills with my kids. That's why, damn it. I need $1 million to do that. And you go, well, doesn't that just cost a couple $100 to do that? I'm like, well, yeah, I guess so. Well, I only want to work certain hours a week. Well, do you really need $1 million to have that kind of lifestyle? Oh, no, I guess not. So you totally just kind of like start peeling back all the layers to my onion. And then right about that time, I had some other people, like, you know, when you're going through a life shift, you know, you have like, what is it? Teachers will show up when the student is ready kind of thing. And so I was going in there with this thought that I was going to be more successful, more numbers, more transactions, because this business is very ego-driven, where it's all about, he did 50 deals, I did 52.
Yeah,
So
right.
I'm better than you. I'm better than you. Right. I mean, they're all rental deals, but I still did 52. So I was at a Career Compass event, and this guy, you know, Beef, he talks about me at the Career Compass kind of thing. And then I was out checking my phone by the bathroom, and this guy walks up to me. He's probably in his mid-50s, and he looks me straight in the eye. He's like, "Bald guy in the red tie, huh?" I was like, "Yeah, hey, nice to meet you. You having a good time? You know, I'm a nice guy." And he goes, "So how many deals did you do last year?" And I told him whatever number it was. He's like, "I did twice that." I'm like, "That's
Awesome.
That's
Great.
good. I'm glad that your whole identity is built off of that."
Right.
But I'm laughing at it now. But 2015, I was very much the same way, where it was all about, well, how many transactions did you do? How much money did you make?
Right.
You know.
Right.
And I also heard a Bob Marley quote at that time, where Bob Marley said something like, "If you base your happiness off of numbers, numbers never end. So you're always chasing the next thing." And you really hit that home too, because it's like, okay, John, so if you do 100 transactions, what do you want to do next year?
Right.
200 transactions, damn it.
I think my favorite question is, what's it going to get you?
Yeah.
What's it going to get you? You get all that, you get $1 million, then what?
And what people don't realize about real estate is that every client and every transaction requires a certain amount of time, energy, emotion, psychological mind energy, physical energy, and then the strain that it puts on your family. Because, you know, when transactions aren't going very well and you're in a stressed mood, guess what? Your spouse and your kids feel that too.
Yep.
I've
absolutely.
heard.
Yeah, you've heard.
I've heard.
Yeah. Something like that.
Not personally.
Right.
So
We
you
have no
really
idea
helped
what
me.
you're talking about.
So you just really started peeling those layers away. And so I think every week for 6 months, except for the weeks I didn't show up, but it was supposed to be every week. But you really...
You were the...
Wait, sorry, we're going to pause. Okay. That? Yeah. Okay. All right. So we'll blend that together. What were we talking about?
I
We're
just
talking about
remember,
okay.
I remember you said, "I'm not doing the homework." I'll
Oh,
never
yeah.
forget when you came and you said, "I'm not doing the homework." And you know, the awesome thing about helping people is that I would get my own coaching in every single coaching appointment that I have. And so I remember going, "Oh, okay, I got to be flexible here. And if he's not going to do the coaching, if he's not going to do the homework, am I still a good coach?" I mean, all these things that you do, and then I'm like, okay, if he's not going to do the homework, then that's okay. Let it go. And
Right.
and it was this interesting process too. It's amazing how you didn't just get taught; I got taught too. So it's always good stuff.
One of the big takeaways that I got from the coaching was your core values. And so what I thought I wanted, I didn't necessarily want. And so what I found out we would talk about the homework, but I just wouldn't do the homework.
Right.
And so one of the things I found out was that I like being a visionary. I like the big picture stuff. I'm not a detail-oriented guy. I don't like...
No, and you want the freedom of choice.
want the freedom
which
of
is
choice.
Why you not doing your homework was so important to you, and why it was important for me to let you not do it.
Yeah. Because if you tell me if I have to do... It's like, oh, like I don't want to schedule.
I get
don't,
that.
Don't like that kind of thing.
I love.
She's like that too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Most of us are.
So, Kurt, does she turn the tables on you often? And so you're like going through an issue, and she's like, "Tell me how you really feel about that."
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But then I do it back to her. That's when she really doesn't like.
She doesn't like it.
That's not true.
Damn it.
That's not true.
No, she does a really good job. That the coaching that you went through, we both did it ourselves individually and together. And she got certified in it. I became certified in it just so we could know it, more than anything else. And I don't think without it we would actually
I don't think we'd be together. Yeah.
We're challenged as a couple anyway, just by working together. Sure. And we're together almost
What are you
24
talking
hours
about?
a day.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, you want to bring
Wait,
something up,
what?
Kurt?
Yeah, what is it?
Tell us how you really feel.
It is tough working it. I mean, we're together 24/7. And so there's times when it's like, okay, I just need a moment. And he does the same thing. I get on the phone and I see him walking out the door and he's sitting outside at the office in a different spot. It's just, there's all the different dynamics of, but it really does force us to be our own independent selves inside of a team atmosphere, which I think is so important even for real estate and as they've built teams and as you know, going through the different phases of our industry. It's been, I think the skills that we're learning by going through all this that we're doing right now are huge, and we definitely, everything we learn, we share. I mean, that's
pretty incredible. That's pretty nice. How did you guys meet, by the way?
Match.com.
Match.com.
She was my one and only date on Match.com, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Not her, but me.
Well, I had to figure that part out, so.
I'm not saying I didn't date. I just only had one date on Match.com. So,
One and done.
And it was me.
I had a few that were supposed to happen, but they didn't for whatever reason, and then.
Because they weren't me.
That's right. So Match.com it was. I was to say, we also didn't even, when we talk about working together and stuff too, real quick, was we didn't work together for the first 2 or 3 years of our relationship. Mm-hmm. So, and we used to joke that we'd never not get along, never have really much going on, even with blending families together. But when we started working together, that brought new dynamics. But
well, you weren't always in real estate.
No.
Personally, you were more of an automotive background. Is that right?
Yes, I started a car detailing business when I was 18 years old, mobile car detailing out in Orange County, did very well with that for many years. And then I got into selling cars, basically, and opened a few car dealerships. In between all that, though, I did do a little bit of real estate. I would buy homes and flip them, buy them on the courthouse steps with a few other guys, and then we would fix them up and flip them and make some money on that. But then I didn't really get back into real estate and do it with Wendy until 3 years ago.
14, 13?
15.
15. 14,
15, somewhere in there. Somewhere in there.
It's all a blur.
Yeah.
It goes by fast.
So yeah.
No, that's been huge, though. I was kind of burnt out on real estate. Or that's some of the reasons why. I mean, the coaching and the management, and I am actually glad that the teams have come about, because I think that for some people, when you can work to your strengths and delegate your weaknesses or the things that you don't enjoy, there's enough for everyone to keep doing. And this business can, pull you in, chew you up, and spit you back out again if you're really not honed in on creating your systems. And so when he started working real estate, it really invigorated me back with more of an intensity in what I love doing more, which is oddly enough, the detailed side, because I'm not detail oriented, but the contracts and knowing all that part, and it's fun again. It's fun again. That's been the nice part.
Make real estate fun again. There you go.
It's true. It's true. And it's through the teams. It is through the teamwork. And there's been a lot of pushback, I think, on that, but I think they're great. They're great models.
Do you see the team thing going indefinitely, or is this a trend? Is this a seasonal thing? Is this
the interesting thing is that if you look at the teams, they're all on splits.
Mm-hmm.
You've got brokers that are doing flat fees and some that don't, but most of them some of them are challenged, but the profitability of a brokerage is really bet on splits. Mm-hmm. So depending on how the team leaders have pretty much taken a manager or a broker's spot. Mm-hmm. So I think it'll be interesting to see how our industry handles that. The DRE keeps fighting that.
Yeah.
And rightly so, because there does need to be some management, but the ones that are doing it well are doing it well, and they're doing it there's no off the record, but they are doing it with little broker supervision.
Yeah.
I mean, they have it, but it's not like the old days where you had every single I was dotted and checked over by a broker. It's impossible. It's impossible.
Yeah.
So I think there's going to have to be, and there already is, technology's taken over a lot of those different things where There was some broker liability and different things. But I see teams morphing, still, though, not one person doing it all. It may appear that way because you still have to have the front runner who is building the rapport with the buyers and the sellers and doing the marketing. But it's, as we all know, the team structure has been around for decades. It's just now we've kind of lifted the skirt up on it, as they say, to show that there's a lot of people working it.
Yeah, and what I think the general public doesn't realize, that's my biggest beef with real estate is that people have this perception from the outside looking in that, oh, geez, what do you guys do all day? Just sit by the pool, drink pina coladas, and answer your phone once or twice, make $1 million deal kind of thing. It's like there are so many variables, so many dynamics, so many... The way that you frame your conversations and the tonality that you have when you're speaking with another agent or client, there's so many things that you just don't learn.
It can make or break a deal.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You
those are difficult to teach.
Yeah. You either have it or you don't.
Right.
And I think that's why our industry has an 88% failure rate for real estate agents within the first 2 years. And our local board is up to 5,000 or a little bit past 5,000 real estate agents just in this local area.
Right.
So as Beef Wellington said, if you swing a dead cat, you're going to hit a real estate agent.
That's right. I love Beef. That was a great interview you had with him.
Did you like that?
Yeah.
He's always good for a show.
Oh, yeah.
Always good.
Very good.
We love you, Beef.
We do.
We like your 7% listing deal.
Oh, yeah. Kurt's got a good story for you on that one.
Yeah,
Anyway.
we do. We have one for him.
Very cool. Yeah, it's great. And that's what I love about this show is that I get to bring all the people that I love and adore, Mr. Kurt, Miss Wendy, into my community and then put you guys on a platform to share your story, and then other people in the community get to watch it. You guys grow and connect.
Well, and we
nice.
are going to find a way to monetize this for you because I think that, if you're bringing value, you get to receive value. So that's my next step for you.
All right, I will gladly receive that instruction. So
There
you
you
let
go.
me know how to make a couple dollars off this.
I
But in the
think there's
meantime, it's my
another one.
passion project. I love doing it, so
know.
it's fun.
There's always ways to bring some things through. It's valuable, and we appreciate you having us on here and what you're doing to highlight who we are. I mean, that's true giving, and that's who you've always been, though.
Thank you.
That's why I love you.
Thank you. I like doing what I do, and this is my 10th year now doing it. Not the show,
Wowza.
but 10 years and wearing the same thing.
We're in the same thing. What do you
Yeah. So that's the
Yeah,
joke
there's
I
a
get.
kind of a smell around him.
Yeah,
I'm
whatever.
just kidding.
That
Smells
dole
like
at the office is
success.
starting to have a little
That's
bit
right.
of a stench too.
So real estate is changing, though.
Well, yeah, and what I'm noticing is that we're having not so many big changes and swings. We're having these little micro changes. But I think the biggest one right now is you've got buyers that are having to do whatever they can to get into a home and negotiate that contract up front. And we're having lots of repair issues and requests for repairs. And that is becoming a bigger negotiating time. And it's throwing a lot of agents off because they're like, I can't believe the laundry list. This person didn't do that and they are doing this. And then there's, whenever you get judgment over another human being, excuse my French, but shit hits the fan and it's no longer any fun because you make it about something that you don't know is true.
Yeah.
90% of the time.
Yep.
It's all, and the problems that you have around those negotiations is, well, I think they're just trying to do this. Well, do you know that's true?
The story versus reality.
The story versus reality.
And what does the client want, not what you want?
Well, and so I actually just recently encountered this. And so on my last counteroffer this past week, I put a property into escrow. And so it's already in the contract, but I clearly wrote out on the counteroffer just to double clarify. I said, buyer has read and understands Section 11 of the RPA and 14B2. And for those who don't know what Section 11 is, it says that a property is sold in as-is condition. As-is condition.
That doesn't mean poop.
So Section 14B2 says that, yeah, you can go ahead and make a request for repair, but a seller is not required or obligated to do repairs or even respond.
Correct.
So I just wanted to make that clear. So
No, but that's true. There's a lot of people that don't understand how the contracts really do play
Right.
themselves out, and they can be massaged and worked because we're still a people business.
Yeah.
But it's when we get our opinion in the middle of a buyer and seller, We really have no business in doing that. Our only job is to support the buyer and the seller with whatever side we represent with ethically, good information, truthful information. That's it. But it's, more challenges are happening around that.
Well, you see so many agents, whether they're new or sometimes they're not so new. Like the best is when they're like, I've been doing this for 30 years. Okay, well, you've been doing this for 30 years, or as Matt Allman says, you've been doing this for 1 year, just 30 times over kind of thing.
That's
right.
And so you pull up their transaction history, like, oh, cool, 30 years, you sold 6 deals. That's good. That's really good. But they always have an opinion about something, don't they? But it feels like a lot of agents want to create that drama because they're trying to prove that value. And it's like, you don't have to, this does not have to be a dramatic thing.
That's exactly, we were just talking about that a couple days ago. Because the problem is then the buyer or the seller gets tainted by that opinion, and it ruins the transaction for them. Yeah. And it's really unprofessional. It's hard. You've got to that's why we're in the picture, is to help negotiate all that yucky crap and keep the buyer and seller out of it so that they're feeling good about their transaction.
Exactly.
And we've gotten away from that. We definitely have gotten away from that. And that's where I don't think we're earning our money as much as we should be.
Yeah. Well, because agents have the reverse idea that, I got to create a big fuss in front of my client because that shows that I'm working hard for him. It's like, no, you're just stressing everybody out.
Drama does not equate hard work.
And I will say, I've heard from other agents that if you're too much of a pain in the ass, there's a special list that you get put on, and they will never entertain one of your offers ever again. I've heard that. I'm not sure if it's true.
It's human nature.
It is.
Why wouldn't it?
Yeah, we have that conversation a lot when we're looking for property, and I go, look who's listing this one.
Yeah.
And we're like, maybe we should move on to the next one.
Yeah.
And they're also listing it for 2%. Ain't it great?
And it's so funny because you're coming back into the industry is a little bit newer, so he'll still get that frustration over those things. I'm like, yeah, whatever. Yeah, it's not fun that you're going to only earn 2%, or I'll figure out a way to deal with that person even after 8 o'clock when the wine's been flowing.
Oh yeah. That's the best when you get those bravado calls. They're kind of slurring. They're like, you listen here.
Or the emails that go 3 pages long, and I have never been treated this way. And I'm like,
and it's over a request for repair for like a window latch. Yeah,
exactly. I can't believe you would do this. I didn't. My buyer asked for it. Well, I don't know what you want me to do.
Yeah, that's the thing. Don't shoot the messenger.
Right.
I love that meme that's floating around. It says, I've never used that phrase more in life than being a real estate agent. Is don't shoot the messenger.
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to communicate.
We're just conduits of information for what our buyer and seller want.
Yeah, it really is simple, but people complicate it.
Oh, yeah.
Makes it
That's
tough.
for sure. That's for sure.
So what's on the horizon for the real estate resource centers, plural? Where are you guys headed? What's going on? What's the dream and vision?
Before you start on that, the dream and vision is to have one of our centers all over the world in various different places, helping communities change the economy and how they look at real estate. I think shared spaces, the co-working space is definitely taken off and doing well, and we'd love to see it in multiple spaces.
It's more of getting continue to get the word out, because some people, especially like you guys were just talking about, mostly in the real estate side, is ego-driven. A lot of people, I can't be in the same office or room with other agents. That they're going to steal my ideas.
Right.
I mean, there's
no new ideas.
Not really too many new things on the horizon. We all try to do different things well, and that's where it actually helps. I mean, I've learned things from being around you there. I've learned things from being, around Wendy, Andrew Warburton, like you talked about before. We have the Steiners. I mean, we have different people that are in our office that we can, we synergize. We don't sit down and go, okay, how many deals are you doing and which deal do you have? It's just more of we're sharing space. So we get to, high five each other when something good happens, and
I yell
help
from the
each other.
kitchen when they're talking about something to make sure that, I'm helping get it right.
And a lot of people know that Wendy's like the encyclopedia of deals, especially when it comes to contracts. So they get to ask her questions, or we're putting on a class about it, and having that space to, I still think the big thing is the space to meet clients.
Yeah.
Because I hear so many agents talk about, I met him at Starbucks, or I met him at, and we did a little of that before we had the office. I know she probably
Dining
did
room
more
table.
of that.
Yeah.
Dining room table, dogs around, and trying to, keep them off the dogs, and they're allergic to the dogs now, so now they're sneezing, and, that
It's
whole
a good
thing.
way to start off a relationship with the
Yeah,
client.
or you're at Starbucks and you can't hear anything, and you're trying to get your internet to work on your computer, and
Yeah.
that whole thing. And so we just really wanted to bring a nice place for people to be able to do that.
And affordable.
yeah,
I mean, our
affordable.
beginning membership starts at $50 a month.
Yeah, for $50 a month, you can come in pretty much whenever you want, meet clients, do what you need to do. If you need more space, like a private office, they go up from there, or a desk to sit at that you want more often, or you want to do an event there, like have your office meeting there once a month because you're working from home, but you just want to have everybody come together once a month or once a week or whatever it is. It really works well for that. And even for some of the affiliates as well, when they want to get out there to agents and show what they have and what they can provide for agents and education out there.
And kind of what you're alluding to as well is that it doesn't have a vibe of competition. It's more of collaboration.
Oh, yeah.
Correct.
I mean, Susan Cronin, I love her. Susan
Yes.
Johnson. She's with Premier Properties. She's amazing. She comes in all the time, and we share our operating agreements. We share, what we're doing for commissions. I mean, we just really support one another, all of them, with different things. Because I don't think I've ever really looked at anyone being at one brokerage. I look at them as a realtor that we're all in this business together. There aren't any lines when it comes to brokerages.
And it's so true because there's very much, I think it's dying out. It's more of the team thing now, but 10 years ago, it was very tribal.
Mm-hmm.
So, you work at Central 21 and you could see people like, kinda get catty about it. You know what I mean? I work at Tarbell. I work at, whatever it is. And it's always so silly. And so what you've done is you've really kicked those boundaries out of the sand kind of thing and said, hey, come hang out. Let's all do well.
Yeah.
And that just shifts. It sounds so simplistic, but it's a huge shift
It
in
is.
energy and just it's great. So,
It is. I hope we're not too much before our time on that. And
Well,
because that probably is our biggest challenge, to be honest, is that people still think that something's going to get stolen and they're going to lose a business over being in a synergistic space. It's just, that always still fries my brain when I hear someone say, oh, well, that manager doesn't want their agents coming in here. It's like, okay. That's okay.
Yeah,
I mean,
teach their own.
Right, exactly. But because
Part of it is the scorning of the industry of
Right.
thinking that, they go to an event, that's where they probably got, hit on, so to speak, from another brokerage. Was like, hey,
Right.
come on over here, when they saw them at an event or
I think that
somewhere. Not
unfortunately,
in our,
that
we have
always-
strict rules on that, but
We do, but that has more, I think, and here's where I turn things around, because I really, unfortunately has more to do with that manager, and I'm not talking about anyone in particular here, but being insecure about their value and what they can
Sure.
add to their agents. And so, I mean, shoot, I'll sit down with them and try to figure out how they can have more value. That's where I'd love to sit with them.
Yeah, being the giving person that you are.
Well, yeah,
That's
that's
why
the
you call
fun
your-
part. That's
yeah.
the fun part.
That's why you call yourself a mama bear. You're very much
Absolutely.
mama bear.
absolutely.
I always have been. It's a trippy thing to step into, but even in high school, I remember, people joking around with me about that. So
You want everybody to congregate.
I do. I want
everybody
everyone to be
okay?
happy, right?
I told her just last night because that same girl she was talking about that just was a friend of one of her girls. Just walked into the house, opened the door, came in, bawling her eyes out. It came right to the couch where Wendy was sitting talking to her mom, and just started. And Wendy was just like right on it, talking to her,
Didn't miss
figured
a
out what it
beat,
didn't
huh?
miss a beat. And then I joked with her afterwards because she goes, oh, remember she lived here for a little bit? I go, yeah, I do. And then I'm like, I guess since I've been around where we kept some of the strays out a little bit more often.
Right, the strays. If you start feeding the strays, they come coming around
That's
a lot
right.
more.
It's true, but
So,
I
she's
also
just a giver in that way.
But
so.
that's again that pain of being alone for those 9 years by myself, or struggling through things where you feel like you don't have support. I don't want anyone to go through that.
Yeah.
Definitely. And it typically are places where we have a passion for something is what we struggled with on our own, or where we had our own lack in, and we want to help. I don't think I'm different from anyone on that one. It becomes our why.
Yeah.
So
Well, I appreciate you guys. You guys are doing some incredible stuff in the real estate community. on a ground level and then to the sky level. So I can't wait to see what's going to happen and blossom and come through for you guys, because you're on to something great. And I think the buzz is getting out there, and then hopefully with this episode, that ripple effect will continue to go out.
And
Thank you.
And likewise, I have loved and I adore you, and I love watching what you're doing, and these podcasters you're doing are incredible. And there is something for you on the stage and in this space that is different and unique to what anyone else can do. So keep doing it, and we can't wait to see you thrive and flourish through this too. So thank you for being you.
Thank you. You meant as a supermodel, right?
Yeah, exactly.
That's right. We saw you today. You were on stage.
I was on
rolling.
stage.
You were on stage.
I was rocking it.
You were rocking it. You did like nobody else. Yeah, exactly.
And I've come to realize about my business, being Bald Guy Red Tie, is that I'm not everybody's flavor, and I've become okay with that. I only like working with people that have a sense of humor. I've come to realize that.
Yeah.
Because there's some people where nothing's funny.
Yeah.
Everything's way too serious.
And it
You're
makes
like,
them even more afraid when you start being funny. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the thing is I think people now know after 10 years that I'm successful. I know what I'm doing, and I'm good at what I do.
Right.
But for the early years, people would go, "Are you ever serious?
Yeah.
You're too funny."
Because it's a big deal.
Yeah.
But no, your knowledge definitely shines through now, so you don't have to worry about that.
Yeah, so I've gotten past that whole thing, so that's good. But with
Thanks for
that
having
said,
us.
I'm grateful for you guys. I'm
Very
grateful for the Resource Centers.
Because we want more. See, we're putting it out
I
there.
figured
We
that's
want
what that
more.
extra S was
that's
for.
exactly what that S is for. We
You're
want
setting
more.
up the franchise.
That's right. That's right.
Very
or
cool.
whatever.
So if people want to get plugged in and join it with you, what's the best way to do that?
Probably the best way is for them to come and experience it.
Yeah.
Come and experience it. 3rd floor, Suite 306 of that red brick building. But we have our website is on the video. It's realestateresourcecenters.com. And,
Yeah,
you
can
can look
come
up
in
my
and-
name and find my phone number anywhere.
And you can come in and see one of the trainings, or just come through the office and then decide what you want your membership level to look like. But they do start at $50 a month to basically use the space. I love it because a lot of people that come in there that use it that way, it's like it's their space too, so they come in and we're all sharing it. But
They grab a cup of coffee,
yeah.
throw up on their laptop, and away they go.
And you have a beautiful location, like the view, the building, like it's
So
nice.
fun.
You guys did a top-notch job, so it's not like going to a shoebox or something. You guys did it good. So.
No, it's
yeah, and one last thing on that is we're actually developing a lot of things right now to help people in as an agent or even a broker with their business itself. Not only do they have a place to come and get the training, but we're working with some technical people on getting some of the the automation stuff done.
That's cool.
Where people have a hard time doing. So we want to try to make that a part of their memberships and things like that. So that's coming. That's coming soon.
So a lot of good things on the horizon. So if you would like to get connected with the Real Estate Resource Centers with Wendy and Kurt, make sure you give them a call, show up to a training. It's an open door policy. Everybody's invited. Doesn't matter what brand, what brokerage, who you are, first day in real estate or 30 years in real estate, 30 times over. Just show up, have a good time. They're friendly people. I enjoy them, and I think you will too.
Thank you.
And that's it with Wendy Whitelaw, Kurt Ecclefield, and John Butler, the bald guy in the red tie, your baldest, red tie wearingest, red tie community show host, saying, see you in escrow. Bye.
Bye.